Oh yeah, these lights are gonna get warm. Are these all live mics? Are these live mics?
Or they'll probably roll them in and out when we need them.
I'm sorry, lady, is that, you said? Yep, it is. Not yet. Okay, Rob.
New York State Racing Parimutuel Wagering and Breeding Law, Section 109A, provides that the Gaming Facility Location Board shall consist of 5 members appointed by the New York State Gaming Commission. 5 members having been appointed by the Commission affords the Board an ability to establish a quorum and undertake action. This present meeting of the Board is now called to order. Establishment of a quorum requires 3 members being present. Please indicate your presence when your name is called. Paul Francis.
Present.
Dennis Glazer.
Present.
Kevin Law.
Present.
Stuart Rabinowitz.
Present.
William Thompson.
Present.
Please let the record reflect that a quorum has been established, allowing the Board to undertake business. Chairman Law?
Good. Thank you, Rob. Our first order of business today is first to review and approve the minutes of our December 9th, 2014 meeting. The minutes have been circulated. I'll take a motion by Bill, seconded by Paul.
Second.
Any comments, revisions, additions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes of December 9th, 2014 have been approved. We're not going to get to our presentation. I'd just like to, sort of give you folks a idea of what we're going to do today. First, I want to thank you all for coming. I've seen some of you several times in different parts of the states. And on behalf of all my colleagues here, we want to thank you for your participation to date. We want to thank you for your passion for your communities, whether you're in favor or opposed to a particular casino. And we want to thank you for your politeness and respect of us throughout the last several months, because I think, and we've heard from a lot of you, you acknowledge that we've had a challenging task on our hands, and we ask you to continue to share that politeness and respect with us throughout this meeting today. And again, we thank you for it. We're going to now go on to item 3 of our agenda, which is to discuss our selections and recommendations. We have before us a document outlining the board's proposed selection of applicants to apply for a gaming commission, to apply to the Gaming Commission for gaming facility licenses. I'd like to discuss the process that has led us up to this point. When we all volunteered for this important role, we collectively recognized the gravity of the decisions we would ultimately reach. The 5 members of the Gaming Facility Location Board have provided a public service with no compensation for any of us. We volunteered for this effort with full appreciation of the importance and the weight that comes with our decisions. We have taken the role very seriously. We have traveled the state. We have visited the locations of the proposed sites. We have heard from thousands of concerned citizens, consulted with renowned industry experts, and digested voluminous materials, all while applying our own individual and collective experience and expertise to make what we believe will be the best choices for the localities, the regions, and the entire state of New York. While some board members may not necessarily believe in the notion of casinos as a basis for economic development, it's important to note that that individual opinions on such issues were set aside, and each of us applied the statutory criteria to the best of our abilities. I'd like to highlight the important role played by the public throughout the process. We held 3 days of public comment sessions in September in Albany, Poughkeepsie, and in Ithaca. These events were well attended, and thousands of New Yorkers came to express their views. Some spoke from the podium. Others wore shirts expressing their support or opposition to specific proposals, and some are still wearing shirts. Others submitted written materials to the board before, during, and after the public comment events, and we fielded more than 12,000 public comments. We found many of these comments helpful to our deliberations, and we thank you all who submitted them to us. We also appreciate those who took the time and trouble to attend the public comment sessions, particularly those who spoke and submitted the written comments. Pursuant to Racing, Para, Mutual, Wagering, and Breeding Law Section 1306, this board has the power to select up to 4 entities to apply to the New York State Gaming Commission for a gaming facility license in 3 regions of the state as defined by Section 1310. Remember, we're the location board, and we make our recommendations to the Gaming Commission. Through market evaluation, review of the economic climate, and an examination of potential competitive scenarios in the regional gaming landscape, we have sought to select those proposals that would maximize prospects for sustained success and be in the best overall interest of the state of New York. In that regard, we have tried to select destination gaming resort proposals of the right scope, the right size, the right financing, and the right locales that will have the best opportunity to succeed in New York State and bring jobs and economic development to distressed regions of the state. We were impressed by the strong interest in investing in the development of upstate New York and appreciate the effort, care, time, and skill that went into the preparation of extensive responsive submissions and an aggressive response schedule. In total, the board received and thoroughly evaluated 16 applications from potential operators. They included Caesars New York in Woodbury, Orange County, the Grand Hudson Resort and Casino in New Windsor, Orange County, Hudson Valley Casino and Resort in Newburgh, Orange County, Live Hotel and Casino New York in Blooming Grove, Orange County, Mohegan Sun at the Concord in Thompson, Sullivan County, Monttrain Resort Casino in Thompson, Sullivan County, the Nevele Resort Casino and Spa in Worthing, Ulster County, Resorts World Hudson Valley in Montgomery, Orange County, Sterling Forest Resort in Tuxedo, Orange County, Capitol View Casino and Resort in East Greenbush, Rensselaer County, Hard Rock Rensselaer in Rensselaer County, Howe Cavern Resort and Casino in Cobleskill-Schoharie County, Rivers Casino and Resort at Mohawk Harbor in Schenectady, Schenectady County, and the Lego Resort and Casino in Tyre, Seneca County, Tioga Downs Casino, Racing and Entertainment in Nichols, Tioga County, and the Traditions Resort and Casino in Union, Broome County. In all, we received more than 150,000 pages of material. Here's what we did with them. We considered the RFA, the request for application responses. We conducted 2 days of applicant presentations in this room and asked numerous questions of the applicants and their consultants. Board members visited proposed sites and, as stated earlier, held public comment events in each region and reviewed more than 12,000 public comments. In evaluating the RFA responses, we followed the statutory criteria and required the evaluation of economic activity and business development at 70% weight, local impact and siting at 20% weight, and workforce enhancement at 10% weight. In addition, and of important note, we considered additional criteria as permitted under the statute. Most particularly, we asked which proposals best fulfilled the intent of the Act in regard to providing economic assistance to disadvantaged areas of the state while enhancing upstate New York tourism industry. We also considered the challenge facing the gaming industry in other jurisdictions with the intention of maximizing the chances for sustainable success of facilities in the three regions that we had to choose from. Accordingly, the board weighed the strength of the applicant's capital structure and experience in operating similar gaming facilities. We looked at competition from other possible gaming facilities, particularly within the Catskills Hudson Valley region. Regarding the Catskills and Hudson Valley region, there were several attractive proposals in this region. Upon consideration of the proposals, in light of the spirit and intent of the Act, we first determined that one gaming facility license in the region should be awarded to a qualified and desirable applicant in Sullivan or Ulster County. We considered carefully whether it would be desirable to recommend two licenses in the region. Through research and analysis, we concluded that a license award to any of the 6 Orange County proposals would present too great a risk of precluding success of a project in Sullivan or Ulster County. There were other factors that contributed to this decision, including local opposition, environmental concerns with proposed sites that threaten to delay speed to market, traffic issues, and uncertainties about the financials of several applicants. Moreover, because of their proximity to New York City, granting a license to any of the Orange County proposals would have resulted in cannibalization of existing downstate gaming facilities. Therefore, we are not recommending the award of a license to any proposal in Orange County. We also concluded that granting licenses to 2 facilities within the Catskills would negatively impact each other. Therefore, we decided to recommend licensing for 3 destination gaming resorts, 1 in each of the 3 regions. These proposals are of the desired scope, size, and financing in locations that fulfill the intent of the law to enhance economic development in upstate New York and contribute to New York's tourism industry. For the specifics, I will call on my colleagues to assist me with the presentations, and we will start with the Catskills Hudson Valley region, and I'll defer to Commissioner Stuart Rabinowitz.
Thank you, Kevin. In the Catskill Hudson Valley region, this board recommends that the commission consider Montrain Resort Casino in the town of Thompson in Sullivan County for the sole gaming facility license in that region. Montrain has submitted alternative proposals for several potential competitive scenarios. Because we are not recommending that a facility be licensed in Orange County or Ulster County, the applicable proposal is Montrain's quote, preferred scenario proposal. Montrain, a subsidiary of Empire Resorts, Inc., will be located in a planned destination resort known as Adalar in Thompson. Montrain proposes an 18-story casino, hotel, and entertainment complex featuring an 86,300 square foot casino with 61 gaming tables and 2,150 slot machines, 391 hotel rooms, multiple dining and entertainment options, and several meeting spaces. Adalar would feature an indoor water park and hotel, an entertainment village with dining and retail outlets, a golf course, and significant residential development. Montreal's total proposed capital investment is $630 million. Montreal states that the other components of the Adalar development represent potentially several $100 million in additional capital investment. Montreal projects gross gaming revenues and gaming tax revenues in 2019 as $301 million in gross gaming revenue and $103 million in gaming tax revenues. Montreal's location in Sullivan County presents the potential, a unique potential, to help revive a once thriving resort destination area that has experienced a significant downturn and that has a tremendous need for economic development and jobs. We believe Montreal's inclusion in the Adalar development increases prospects for an attractive tourism destination. Montreal anticipates creating 1,209 full-time and 96 part-time permanent jobs. Montreal also anticipates using New York-based subcontractors and suppliers and has demonstrated very strong minority and women business enterprise procurement practices. The board finds that the design and amenities of Montreal's gaming facilities are strong, especially in combination with the other proposed elements of the Adalar development. Our casino consultant observed that the proposed casino configuration in Montreal is larger and more varied and potentially more interesting than some other competitive proposals. We believe the project is designed in a way that will optimize a resort experience and take advantage of its location within the Catskill Mountains. Because of Montreal's location in Sullivan County, the board also believes that Montreal will have a small adverse impact on other New York State racing, VLT, and tribal gaming facilities. The one exception may be Monticello Casino and Raceway, which is owned and operated by Empire Resorts, of which Montreal is a subsidiary. The board finds that Montreal has proposed a reasonable and credible financing structure. Montreal intends to finance the gaming facilities through a combination of equity via rights offering and institutional third-party debt. An affiliate of the Lim family of Malaysia, which currently owns a majority of Empire Resorts, has committed already to fully backstop the rights offering. Montreal also presents a debt commitment letter from a very major institutional lender which evidences the viability of the proposed debt financing. The executive team at Empire Resorts has substantial experience in developing and constructing and operating casinos and related facilities. Montreal presents a sophisticated analysis of the project's infrastructure and service needs and a reasonable mitigation plan for its impacts. Montreal demonstrates substantial local support and intends to partner with local businesses and promote regional tourism, including impact of live entertainment venues already in the area. Montreal intends to implement a workforce development program, and this is very important to us, that employs the existing nearby labor force, including those who are currently unemployed. Montreal states that it has the experience in recruitment, hiring, and retention of local labor that goes beyond equal employment opportunity initiatives. Montreal proposes to establish and implement an affirmative action program that identifies specific goals for the engagement of minorities, women, persons with disability, and veterans in order to increase the diversity of the gaming industry workforce. Empire Resorts has demonstrated very strong labor management cooperation, and Montreal has organized labor's support of the project through signed agreements. The board was impressed by Montrain's comprehensive measures to address problem gambling, including training their employees to recognize problem gamblers and problem gaming. Montrain commits to use sustainable development principles in construction and operation of the gaming facility and to establish robust and well-articulated human resource practices. Montrain also commits to purchase, whenever possible, domestically manufactured slot machines. We note that there were strengths and weaknesses among the 3 Catskill applicants, but we have concluded that Montrain offers the superior proposal based on the consideration of all the statutory factors. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Stu. I'm now going to go to the Capital Region and ask Commissioner Bill Thompson to report on the Capital Region.
Thank you, Kevin. And before I begin my comments, let me thank my colleagues first. They have invested countless hours, a lot of work as volunteers. And I have to tell you, I haven't worked with a finer group of people. So let me thank them for their work. And secondly, the staff led by Robert Williams, the staff that worked with us did an excellent job. It was a lot of work and a lot of paper, and they did an excellent job. So, and as I said, I've worked in government for decades. This was among some of the finest work that I've seen. So, congratulations again. Thank you, staff. In the Capital Region, this board recommends Rivers Casino and Resort. We could change the, no, it's okay. This board recommends Rivers Casino and Resort at Mohawk Harbor in the city of Schenectady, in Schenectady County, to apply to the Commission for a gaming facility license. Rivers, owned by affiliates of experienced casino developer Neil Blum, would reside on a 60-acre waterfront location with a 50,000 square foot casino featuring 1,150 slot machines and 66 gaming tables.
Folks, I just ask you to please keep it down. We have a lot of important information to share, and I know there's excitement and disappointment out there, but we just ask you to please try to keep it quiet. Thank you.
And 66 gaming tables, including poker tables, a high-end steakhouse, and other casual and light fare restaurants, an entertainment lounge, a banquet facility, and a spa. The Rivers facility is part of Mohawk Harbor, a mixed-use waterfront development being completed by the Gillespie Group, a large and experienced real estate developer, which combines residential, commercial, and retail uses, as well as a new harbor, riverfront trails, and open spaces. The Gillespie Group will develop a hotel at Rivers facility with 150 rooms in addition to another planned 124-room hotel being developed on the northern portion of the Mohawk Harbor project. Rivers' total proposed capital investment is $300 million, and we note there are opportunities for enhanced economic impact in the region due to Rivers' inclusion in the Mohawk Harbor development, which is the subject of a separate investment of approximately $150 million. Rivers projects gross gaming revenues and gaming tax revenues in 2019 of $222 million and $82 million, respectively. Rivers anticipates supporting approximately 877 full-time and 193 part-time jobs in central Schenectady. Another compelling aspect of the Rivers project is that it supports the revitalization of the city of Schenectady by replacing one of the country's oldest brownfield sites. Rivers proposes to brand the hotel with the 4 Points by Sheraton or Aloft flags of Starwood hotels and resorts. We believe that branding the Rivers Hotel with a strong national hotel flag will be advantageous, particularly if the franchise arrangement facilitates Rivers' marketing of its casino to the flag's customer loyalty database. Rivers presents a credible plan to finance its project with a combination of equity from its members and institutional third-party debt. Rivers provides commitments from its owners to supply equity financing in certain amounts and, if equity needs exceed those amounts, states their capacity to provide full equity financing for the project. We also note that affiliates of Rivers have successfully raised capital in difficult financial markets and completed other comparable gaming developments on time and on budget. Gaming operations at Rivers will be overseen by local management and Rush Street Gaming, LLC, an affiliate of Rivers. Although Rush Street has not formally been designated as the operator of the facility, the ownership structure makes clear that Rush Street will be the driving force of Rivers operations. Rush Street is a gaming company with experience in developing, financing, and operating entertainment and gaming destinations on a scale comparable to the proposed Rivers project. The board finds that Rivers presents a complete analysis of anticipated local impacts and provides strategies for mitigation. Rivers demonstrates strong local support and has committed to partnering with local businesses and promoting regional tourism, including impacted live entertainment venues in the area. Rivers intends to implement a workforce development program that employs the existing nearby labor force, including those who are currently unemployed. Rivers demonstrates organized labor support of the project through signed agreements. Rivers presents sufficient measures to address problem gambling, including training employees in recognizing problem gambling. Rivers commits to using sustainable development principles in construction and operation of the gaming facility and will establish a hiring and training program that promotes a skilled and diverse workforce. The board finds that Rivers proposes to establish and implement an affirmative action program for the engagement of minorities, women, persons with disability, and veterans in order to increase the diversity of the gaming industry workforce. Rivers will purchase primarily domestically manufactured slot machines. While there were strengths and weaknesses among the 4 Capital Region applicants, the board concludes that Rivers offers the superior proposal based upon consideration of all of the statutory factors.
Thank you, Bill.
You did get the loudest hand. You did get the loudest hand.
All right.
From people who don't live in
Thank you, Bill. That's right. We'll now move on to the Finger Lakes Southern Tier region. I'll call upon our Commissioner Dennis Glazer for that report.
Thank you, Kevin. For the Eastern Southern Tier, Finger Lakes region, this board recommends Lago Resort Casino in the town of Tyre in Seneca County to apply to the Commission for a gaming facility license. Lago, a partnership of Wilmot Gaming and PGP investors, would include 94,000 square foot casino with 2,000 slot machines and 85 gaming tables, 207 hotel rooms, multiple restaurants, and other amenities. Lago's total proposed capital investment is $425 million.
Bill, Dennis. Oh. Excuse me, folks. I'm going to ask you, please, if you're going to have conversations, take them out to the hallway, please.
Lago's total proposed capital investment is $425 million, far exceeding the proposed capital investments of the other 2 applications for this region. In addition, Lago's proposal is projected to generate significantly greater tax revenues to the state than the other applications for this region. Lago projects gross gaming revenues and gaming tax revenues in 2019 of $282 million and $80 million, respectively, and Lago will provide opportunities for enhanced economic impact and increased tourism in the Finger Lakes region. Lago anticipates creating approximately 1,250 to 1,500 jobs. Lago has signed a construction manager agreement, which includes a commitment to use a minimum of 95% New York-based contractors and 90% New York-based suppliers. Lago has organized labor support of the project through signed agreements. Lago proposes a thoughtful and well-designed facility and a reasonable and credible financing structure. Lago's developer, Wilmerite Inc., has local real estate development experience, and the gaming facility will be operated by JNB Gaming, a company with extensive experience developing and managing regional casinos, similar in size and scope to Lago. While none of the proposals had the support of every potential neighbor, Lago has substantial local support and has demonstrated its intention to partner with local businesses and promote regional tourism. In making our decision, the board was mindful that the proposed facility in Tyre may create some traffic concerns for certain of its neighbors, particularly members of the nearby Amish community. As part of our recommendation, the board is asking the Commission to work closely with Lago to address any potential impacts this facility may have on the local community. While there were strengths and weaknesses among the 3 applications made in the eastern southern tier Finger Lakes region, the board concludes that Lago offers a superior proposal, and based upon consideration of all of the statutory factors, we select Lago Resort and Casino to apply to the Commission for a gaming license.
Thank you, Dennis. Next, I'm going to call upon Commissioner Francis to discuss some of the methodology that we utilized regarding the finances of these facilities. Paul?
Well, I'm going to very briefly discuss the methodology that we used to come to these decisions. We consider the advice and assistance from the Gaming Commission, numerous expert consultants, and a wide range of state agencies who have expertise in particular aspects of the topics that were covered by the RFA. These expert analyses included the revenue-generating capabilities of applicants, as well as advice regarding proposed financing and capital structures, credit support, traffic and environmental impact, and mitigation plans. We analyzed these analyses of revenue projection, potential cannibalization, potential impact of competing new casinos within a single region, and a range of qualitative factors that could affect the attractiveness of a new gaming facility, including development and operating experience, project design. In many cases, we sought and received additional analysis as we worked through our evaluation of the applications. We also reviewed projections of the proposed impact to state revenue after accounting of potential cannibalization of revenue from existing facilities, whether state VLTs or Native American gaming facilities. And because of the importance of the financial stability and sustainability of these facilities, the boards carefully consider the proposed debt and equity financing structures of the applicants and the reliability and sustainability of their financing plans. In doing this, the board considered debt equity ratios, earnings relative to proposed debt levels, interest coverage ratios, and the sensitivity of earnings to changes in results as a result of changes in the economic climate or margin compression. There were many factors we considered that address the economic distress within each of the proposed counties, including median family income, the percent of the population with a bachelor's degree or higher, median home prices, and of course the unemployment and poverty rates in these regions. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Kevin.
Thank you, Paul. I'd like to call on Commissioner Bill Thompson again to discuss how we try to achieve Governor Andrew Cuomo's goals regarding MWB requirements.
The legislature was very deliberate in requiring applicants for a gaming license demonstrate with great detail workforce enhancement factors. These included, but were not limited to, minority and women-owned business enterprises. To that end, we were very careful in requiring applicants identify their plans relative to such items as equal employment opportunities. However, in addition to that, we strongly recommend that the Commission implement conditions to licensure requiring that the 3 successful applicants to match or exceed the standards set by Governor Andrew Cuomo's executive order establishing a 30% goal for MWBE participation. We see no objective reason why the licensed candidates could not achieve these levels. Finally, believe that the regulations and taking a look at those, along with consultation with the Dormitory Authority, indicates that they should fall under the governor's executive order, that the granting of licenses does do that. Finally, we also consulted with the Dormitory Authority of New York on how they monitor compliance with MWBE expenditures. They have readily volunteered, and under statute, I believe they are the agency that is the one that would monitor. They are happily looking forward to providing their services and assistance to the Commission in any manner requested. So we strongly recommend that the Commission consider this in its licensing process.
Thank you, Bill. To recap, and we then will need to entertain a resolution. Recapping, this board is going to recommend Montrain Resort and Casino in the town of Thompson in Sullivan County to be considered by the Commission for the sole license for the Catskill Hudson Valley region, with the recommendation that the Commission take appropriate steps to ensure that Montrain is constructed as part of the Adalar project. 2, to recommend Rivers Casino and Resort at Mohawk Harbor in City of Schenectady in Schenectady County to be considered by the Commission for the sole license in the Capital Region, with the recommendation that the Commission take appropriate action to ensure that Rivers is constructed as part of the Mohawk Harbor project. And 3, to recommend Lago Resort and Casino in the town of Tyre in Seneca County to be considered by the Commission for the sole license in the eastern southern tier Finger Lakes region, with the recommendation that the Commission work with Lago's developer to address any potential impacts this facility may have on the local community. And to recommend that the Gaming Commission implement conditions to licensure requiring these 3 successful applicants to match or exceed the standards set by Governor Andrew M. Cuomo's executive order establishing a 30% goal for MWBE contracting. And to recommend that the Commission take appropriate steps to ensure that the selected applicants reach agreements to not take actions to increase debt-to-equity ratios beyond the levels presented in the applicants' proposals and/or standard industry practices. What we have before us discusses these recommendations and selections in great detail. As the statute requires, we will issue a full report of findings on all the applicants on or about 30 days. I'd like to ask Rob Williams now to read our draft resolution, a proposed resolution to the public.
Resolution of the New York State Gaming Facility Location Board to select applicants to be considered for gaming facility licensure by the New York State Gaming Commission. Whereas the New York Legislature passed in 2 consecutive legislatures in 2012 and 2013 concurrent resolutions to amend the state constitution to permit casino gambling. And whereas the people of the state of New York voted to amend Section 9 of Article 1 of the Constitution of the State of New York to permit casino gambling as authorized and prescribed by the legislature. And whereas the legislature passed and the governor approved the Upstate New York Gaming Economic Development Act in 2013, authorizing and prescribing casino gambling in New York State upon the appropriate amendment of the state constitution. And whereas the Act authorized up to 4 destination casinos to boost upstate economic development, create thousands of well-paying jobs, and provide added revenue to the state, located in 3 defined regions of the state: Hudson Valley Catskill area, Region 1, Zone 2, Capital Region, Region 2, Zone 2, and Eastern Southern Tier, Region 5, Zone 2, with a second license to a qualified applicant to be awarded in no more than a single region. And whereas the New York State Gaming Commission established the Gaming Facility Location Board as prescribed by New York Racing Parimutuel Wagering and Breeding Law, Section 109A, to select up to 4 applicants following a competitive application process to be considered for gaming facility licensure. And whereas on March 31st, 2014, the board issued a request for applications to develop and operate a gaming facility in New York State. And whereas on June 30th, 2014, the board received 17 sets of application material from 16 entities in response to the RFA. And whereas on August 7th, 2014, the board determined that 1 application for Region 2, Zone 2 was substantially non-responsive to the RFA, and by unanimous vote eliminated such applicant from further consideration. And whereas on September 8th and 9th, 2014, each of the 15 remaining applicants made an informal introductory presentation of its applications to the board, and whereas at public comment events convened in each of the regions on September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th in Albany, Poughkeepsie, and Ithaca, respectively, the board heard comments on the 16 responsive applications from more than 400 individual speakers, and whereas the board received and cataloged more than 12,000 unique pieces of communications related to the siting of casinos, and whereas the board is required to evaluate the RFA submissions pursuant to the statutory criteria of PML Section 1320, and whereas the board is authorized under Subdivision 3 of PML Section 1306 to develop additional criteria to assess which applications provide the highest and best value to the state, and whereas the board is required under Subdivision 7 of PML Section 1306 to issue detailed findings of facts and conclusions demonstrating the reasons supporting its decisions to select applicants for licensure, and to issue a finding on how each applicant proposes to advance the criteria of PML Section 1320. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the board evaluated 16 applications based upon the statutory criteria of PML Section 1320 and the additional criteria developed by the board under Subdivision 3 of PML Section 1306, as to which proposals best fulfill the intent of the Act in regard to providing economic assistance to disadvantaged areas of the state while enhancing upstate New York's tourism industry. And be it further resolved that based on the board's evaluation, the board selects the following applicants to apply to the Commission for a gaming facility license: Montrain Operating Company, LLC, proposer of Montrain Resort Casino in the town of Thompson in Sullivan County; Capital Region Gaming, LLC, proposer of Rivers Casino and Resort at Mohawk Harbor in the city of Schenectady in Schenectady County; and Lago Resort and Casino, LLC, proposer of Lago Resort and Casino in the town of Tyre in Seneca County. And be it further resolved that the board hereby adopts its initial findings the attached selection of the New York State Gaming Facility Location Board dated December 17, 2014, which summarizes the board's evaluation and selection of applicants to apply to the Commission for a gaming facility license. And be it further resolved that the board hereby shall issue the findings required by Subdivision 7 of PML Section 1306 and PML Section 1320, with the intention of issuing such findings on or about 30 days following the adoption of this resolution. And be it further resolved that the aforesaid resolution shall be effective immediately. And be it further resolved that the chair of the board be authorized to sign this resolution indicating the assent of the board to its contents herein.
Thank you, Rob. I'll take a motion by Dennis,
So moved.
seconded by Paul.
Second?
Any comments, revisions, additions to the resolution? Hearing none. Rob, I'll ask you to take a roll call.
Kevin Law,
Yes.
Dennis Glazer,
Yes.
Stuart Rabinowitz,
Yes.
Paul Francis,
Yes.
William Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you, Rob. The motion approving those three casino resorts are unanimously approved. And folks, while the majority of the applicants are not moving forward in the process, the board wants to extend its gratitude to each of the applicants for their commitment and interest in helping to foster economic development in the state of New York, and to all the people in the communities that came out and spoke in favor or opposed to a particular entity. The entities that are moving forward now have a very important charge and responsibility at hand. They have, as they have throughout the entire process, they're expected to act and perform with the utmost integrity and accountability to the state. The Gaming Commission has already begun the licensing review process and intends to move promptly to issue licenses so that the construction can begin, jobs can be created, and the economic climate can improve. We want to congratulate all the successful applicants and wish them the best success on their developments. We want to thank the staff for all their hard work as they try to help us reach our selections. Again, want to thank the applicants, the public, and everybody participating. I want to thank my colleagues up here as well. We know we didn't make everybody happy, and we know we didn't make everybody upset, I will share with you that we took our job seriously. We did the best we could. It doesn't mean we're perfect. We did the best we could with all the information that we had available to us. And so we thank you for your respect of the process and respect that you showed us at all of the various public events that we have. And we want to wish you all a very happy holiday season, and we thank you again for participating. All right. So we spoke already. I don't have any formal post-meeting comments, so we'll start right in with questions, and we'll try to have some order, and we'll try to get to everybody. And with no particular order, I'll just start right here. We'll start with the right, we'll go to the left, and we'll try to get everybody. Don't be a hog, don't ask 2 questions in a row, and we'll try to get everybody in. I'm sorry, I said I'm picking up right here. Did you have a question, or? Well, I just picked this person first.
People should identify. Steve Israel from the Times Herald Record, you cover the Catskills, Hudson Valley. You said, not 2 questions, but I'll make it a 2-part question, okay? One, if you could explain more fully why Montreat was the only choice in the Hudson Valley, the criteria, your thinking behind it. And really, why none then in Orange County? Why did you shut out Orange County?
Fair question. I'll try to do my best. 2 things. First, as it relates to Montreat, we believe that Montreat was the superior application of the ones we reviewed in the Catskills region. So that is the one. In terms of why we didn't pick 2, the best way to describe it is, I'll give you an answer and then I'll give you an analysis. The best way, we thought for the sustainability of one casino in the Catskills region, to give it the best chance to succeed with everything that's going on in the state, in the surrounding states, was to not have another casino in the region. And so that's the primary reason why we did that. And to give you the analysis, when you try to do something big, or when companies look at a merger, you would hope that 1 + 1 = 3. At minimum, you want 1 + 1 to equal 2. In this case, we believe that 1 + 1 barely equaled more than 1. And so to give it the best shot of success, we chose 1. Right here.
The exclusion of Orange County, though, seems to be somewhat at odds at first blush with the formula that's given out for determining where the casinos are going to be. The 70% focus on economic activity, including revenue and jobs, would seem to hint towards the Orange County opportunity as opposed to Sullivan. How would you then explain the decision to exclude Orange based on the formula that was being used?
Well, I just told you what the reason was for not picking any other in that region, was to give Sullivan the biggest chance for success. Clearly, one of the applications in Orange was the largest net revenue generator to the process to the state. That's the one in southern Orange County. But it wasn't the sole criteria. It was part of 3 prongs of the state criteria as well as our own criteria to consider in the application. And that some of the casinos in Orange County had additional issues related to secret, related to environmental impact, related to community opposition, and related to financing. It was a conglomeration of other issues. It wasn't just a blanket exclusion of Orange. It was to have Sullivan County be a sustainable one, which was the original intention of the statute, to help distressed communities upstate, and then to give it the best chance for success. And then you could get into picking out all the deficiencies in all the other applications.
That's not worked out.
Right here, I'm sorry, I'm going to go one back and forth, back and forth. State your name and paper you're from. Or-
John Hudson in State. You mentioned secret. Where are these three winning bids at in the secret process, and how big of a role did that play?
Well, secret is very important because it goes to the speed to market. Because there's one thing any developer will tell you that will slow down the development process for any type of project. It's getting snagged in the secret process. And the three selections we made have all completed the secret process. Now this side, and then you. Right here? Say your name and where you're from?
Joe Spector from the Gannett newspapers.
Okay.
The three, that 19.3, I mean, is there a possibility to go back to add a fourth in a year, or is this it? I mean, is it three?
Good question. We actually spent time really trying to, figure that out. Do we want to say three at this time, and maybe we'll pick a fourth? No, we reached a unanimous consensus that to give these three selections that we made the best shot for success, there shouldn't be a fourth.
And if I may, talking about the Orange County versus the Catskills, similar kind of situation, I would imagine, in the southern tier versus the Finger Lakes. You ended up going with the Finger Lakes proposal. Can you explain a little bit about the thinking? I mean, again, it's kind of two distinct regions there.
Well, statutorily, they were one region. Geographically, politically, yes, they are multiple regions, but we were charged with picking one in the combined region, the Finger Lakes and the Southern Tier. And in that instance, it really, first, we felt Lago had the best overall financial capabilities to succeed. And it really wasn't a choice between Lago and the other two in the Southern Tier. It was more of a choice between Lago and nothing in the region.
So why would that be?
Based on the finances. Lago had the superior application of the three from a financial perspective in that region. Over here? Where are you from?
Capital, New York.
Okay.
When exactly was the decision made by the board not to allow the fourth license, and how much of a factor was the situation in New Jersey in your considerations?
Well, let me take the second question first. First, we did take a look at what was happening in the entire industry, not just in New Jersey, but in the country. And then there's certainly a lot of things happening in Atlantic City, and then rumors about things that might be happening in northern New Jersey. We decided that our statutory obligation was to carry out the statute, and we couldn't base our decision on what might happen or what other states might do or what other governors might do. And we took that perspective. So that answers your second question. In terms of your first question, you want to repeat that again?
When did you decide as a board not to allow a fourth license?
The whole process has been evolving, and we were fluid right up until pretty much last night, this morning, on final decisions.
On whether or not to allow 3 or 4? You were still fluid?
No. With three, we did that on financial, the financial perspectives. And in terms of when we actually reached our final decisions, I thought that was your question. That was, we sort of reached a consensus this week. Yes, sir.
New York Times. In terms of picking 3 rather than 4, doesn't that kind of speak to this idea that the market is saturated, that there's intense competition? Doesn't that kind of make the case that this is a very competitive industry?
On one hand, yes. On the other hand, I disagree. First, again, we're not the policymakers. The state legislature and the voters voted to approve casinos in New York State. And it was our charge to carry out the intentions of the statute and to pick the best locations. And in terms of not going with 4, we thought the best chance for success for the 3 that we selected would be not to add a 4th or a 2 in any other region.
But doesn't that speak to intense competition from other states?
It says up to 4. It
Well,
doesn't say 4.
well, yes. Yes, there's competition. When the state legislature and the governor signed the bill, they talked about what's happened in all the other states. Part of this was to try to recapture dollars that are leaving our state to go to other states that have legalized gambling. I'm sorry, this first thing, I'm going sort of in seat order, so I'll get to you folks.
Was there Glenn Blaine from the Daily News
Absolutely not. Not just from them, from any other politicians, lobbyists. We have, they left us alone. So, I said the other side, but go ahead.
Rick Carlin, Times Union. Any thoughts or words of advice or consolation to the communities that weren't chosen?
You know, listen, we struggled, you know. If we were to make a decision based on the community with the most heart in the game, you know, we would have picked Howe Cavern. You know, they did a great job in their presentation and building up community support. You know, so we feel bad for some of the communities that wanted a casino badly, but we were limited in what we could and could not do. And at the end of the day, we had to do what made financial success. We didn't want to approve something in a community just because they really wanted it and have that guaranteed for failure because the economics of the project didn't work.
Can I just add something to that for a minute? I just want to emphasize, and it goes to the other question, is this it? Can there be a fourth? This whole process is not controlled by us, nor is its future controlled by us. If the legislature and the governor, I mean, the constitutional amendment permits this, doesn't say how many. If the legislature and the governor think there ought to be 4, or, you know, in 7 years, there ought to be 3 more downstate, or they think there shouldn't be, they could change it whenever they want. Our task was to follow the existing rule to the best of our, as we understood it, to the best of our ability. And then we're done with our task, and now it's back where it should be, in the legislature where people are elected, and to the governor where they're elected. We are not elected. We're not even paid. We don't know what's going to happen in the future.
Right here, sir, and then over here.
Jeff Reddick from Time Warner Cable News. Did name recognition not play a role in this? And I asked that because you had Caesars, Mohegan Sun, Hard Rock, some very well-respected names that were not chosen. Were you trying to stay away from big names?
Not at all. Not at all. Again, some of the ones you just mentioned were located in Orange County, and I believe I addressed those issues. It had nothing to do with the name. Sir?
David Klepper, Associated Press. What role did community opposition play in your decision? And the reverse of that, what role did grassroots support, the people with the T-shirts? What did they have?
It was important. We gave it the statutory criteria. It was about 20%. It's sort of hard to gauge what's 20%, but it was important in terms of one, seeing the communities that really wanted something, and in terms of those who were really opposed to something and who came to the public meetings with their attorneys and threatened litigation, and it went to the speed of market possibilities for some of those projects as well. But at the end of the day, we gave the community, and whether elected officials sent letters in or held press conference, all the same weight under the community support or opposition criteria. Yes, ma'am.
Just wondering, the casino that's in Saratoga is very close to the Schenectady casino that was chosen. Was there any concern that you might have, this might have some adverse effects on the casino in Saratoga?
Yeah, a lot of the time we spent in the executive sessions when we met previously were related to the finances and the modeling that was done and the cannibalization of what our decisions could have on existing or proposed other casinos. And so, yes, we did look into that. And again, we didn't decide that the capital region should get one. Everyone knows the capital region is near Saratoga. It was our job to pick one that was the best in the capital region that would not only be have least amount of cannibalization to existing facilities, but that would achieve other objectives. And we felt that in Schenectady, a city that has long been distressed, certainly met the intention of that statute once GE started, downsizing there, many years ago. And then the redevelopment of a brownfield site, and then the location on the Mohawk River, which would make it more of a tourist destination center for the boaters that travel through that area throughout the year. So that was more of the reason. Right here?
Hey, Manisli from the Times Herald Record. You spoke a lot about cannibalization, concerns about that. And so does that mean that you had already decided that one would go to Sullivan County and that you didn't want anything to affect, any other place to affect that in Orange County? Was the Sullivan County decision already made?
Well, it wasn't. Let me rephrase your question, if I may. what we tried to do was, we thought the primary intention of the statute was to help distressed communities upstates, primarily in areas like the Catskills that have been long suffering for years and calling for the legalization of casinos for their regions. And that played a big factor in our decision-making. And then we had to make a choice between which one in the Catskills worked best. And then, in sort of to one of the very first questions, what will help make this casino successful in the future? And it was there where it said, well, we couldn't pick another one in Orange County, southern Orange County or northern Orange County, because it would impact that one financially. I got you first. Let me try to get somebody who, I got you first. This gentleman with the blue shirt.
Mark Ronich with Statewide News Service. I just wanted, I see here on the chart and down in the Sullivan County, it says Mohegan Sun at the Concord and Montran Resort. Were they both being planned for the Concord site?
Right next to each other.
Because the assemblywoman from the area said that Montran was going to be at the Concord site. So I was just wondering if that's the same.
It's in the same area.
They're contiguous.
Exactly. It is not the same site.
So it's, would I be incorrect by saying Montran will be on the old Concord hotel site?
You would be incorrect.
Right, but right next to it. But the Montran facility includes redeveloping the Monster Golf Course. Right.
Say that again.
The Montran development plan includes the redevelopment of the Monster Golf Course up there, which folks at the Concord typically would go to. It's because they're right next to each other. Gentleman over here.
John Harris, Preston Sun Walton. I just wanted to get you to expand a little bit on how the board, or explain the decision to go with Lago, even though, they say 50% of their revenues will come from existing gambling facilities, but the closest one to the southern tier is down in Wilkes-Barre. So I just wanted to get you talk a little bit more about the decision to go with Lago.
Well, again, the decision for the southern tier Finger Lakes region was, strictly on the financials of the three applications. Lago had the superior financial projections, modeling that, again, we sat down at length and reviewed with our consultants, and we just thought had the best chance for success in that region. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm Joe Mahoney from the Daily Star. I was wondering if you could help us try to figure out why there wasn't more transparency here in terms of the choice that you would only give one license to the Catskills, Hudson, the Region Valley. That's a pretty big choice, and that was not done in a transparent way. And why couldn't you have a public debate about that, or a public, conversation? Why do it behind closed doors?
Well, I don't accept the premise of your question, and this has been the most transparent process without any outside interference or influence. We had a group of dedicated volunteers who held numerous public meetings. We did everything we did, we put on the website. We noticed everything. When we were in executive session, it was to go through the detailed financial aspects and background checks of applications, stuff that if you were applying for a mortgage and your bank was considering your approval, you wouldn't want them to be doing that in public, looking at your finances. So I don't accept the premise of your question. However, when it comes to the debate, we had the ability under the statute to also develop our own criteria. It wasn't something that we were obligated to publicly debate.
Yeah, but you came in here today knowing that there were only going to be a total of 3 licenses. That was a decision that was made. Do you think that complies and comports with the open meeting law?
Yes, absolutely. And we've been since September saying that we're allowed to pick up to 4, with the implication being that we may very well pick less than 4. Yes, Glenn?
Just following up on something you said before. You said the board felt the primary intent of the statute was to basically bring economic development to distressed communities. So that was a bigger factor in the board's view than the potential revenue to the state. In not choosing bidders like Genting or Caesars, you left a lot of money on the table, so to speak, for the state. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, again, I see where you're going. I'm not sure really agree with the underlying premise. But let me say this. Yes, we believe the intention was to help distressed communities of upstate and to try to promote economic development in communities that have either long been abandoned, long been neglected, or have had disinvestment over the years. And we think we certainly achieved that in Sullivan County and in Schenectady. In terms of leaving money on the table, some of those, the ones you referred to, the Genting, Tuxedo Park, and/or Caesars in Woodbury Commons area, they had other issues as well, including speed to market. There was not one overriding criteria. And again, let me give you an analysis. If you were to, try to put a Ben and Jerry's, near the Grand Canyon, sure, that would probably be a huge, revenue generator for, of all the franchises in the country, but it may not necessarily belong there. So there are other issues associated with that we heard from the public. The gentleman back here and then up here.
Wall Street Journal. In terms of the issues for speed to market for Getty and Caesars, what are some of the specific things that prohibited to open up right away?
I think it had a lot to do with the secret process, especially if you took them one at a time. The Genton in the Tuxedo Park area had a lot of environmental challenges to overcome, not to mention a throughway exit that needed to be built. Certainly, I mean, listen, the presentation was, beautiful. It was beautiful. A lot of these decisions, believe me, were not easy. And so there are other challenges that knocked them out. I said this here, and then we'll go back here.
It's Andrew Evan with Files 1 and RNN. I just want to follow up on an earlier question. The day after the election in 2013, maybe it was 2 days after, Governor Cuomo was in Bethel in Sullivan County, and he talked repeatedly about how the bill or how the law would help, particularly the Catskills. That statement, those statements, and other interests of the governor played no role in the determination by the board?
I didn't know he made those comments.
We weren't appointed until July, the summer of this year, some of us. But in terms of things like that or statements that were said, and it goes to the statutory interpretation, the intention of the statute. And so comments like that were certainly relevant in terms of what the intentions of the politicians who drafted the law, who passed the law. When you look into the intention of statutes, you look at a lot of different things. And so while I wasn't aware of that press conference, had we been aware, it could have been relevant in terms of figuring out supporting our decision that what the intention of the statute was. Who did I say I was picking next? Over here?
Empire Resorts, which is behind Montreat, right? They have the Monticello Raceway, the Racino there, and that has been financially struggling in recent years. Was that a concern for you, their record there?
Well, they addressed that in their application. That they do have the video lottery terminals there, and they thought that by doing something, in their terms, spectacular, with not just the casino resort, but the surrounding development at the Adelard development, it would enhance the opportunity for the raceway there as well. We're going to take 2 more, right here.
Thank you, Mr. Law. With respect to other news in New York State today, it may be a long shot, but certainly there are some folks in the Southern Tier who are feeling rather scorned today, not only because of this decision, but also because of the negative fracking news coming out of the Capitol today. During your process and knowing that you were considering economic development and revival in the Southern Tier, did you explore or consider hydrofracking at all?
No, not at all. It had nothing to do with our. We had our hands.
We
had our hands filled with the 150,000 pages of documents and other things related just to casinos and finances, and that had nothing to do with it. And weren't even aware that that was happening today.
And we weren't involved in the president's decision about Cuba, also. Okay, we weren't involved in that either.
Certainly knowing that that was a potential opportunity, of course, is now an avenue for economic revival in another industry, that didn't affect your decision regarding this industry.
No, not at all. Fair question, but no. All right, said 2 more. Now we'll take 2 more. 1 and 1.
You mentioned
Good, yeah, good question. Now what has to happen, our recommendations have been submitted to the Gaming Commission, and they have to issue the license. Once the license is issued, the applicants have to have a casino up and running within 24 months. And some of them have suggested 18 months, and some of them have suggested sooner. And there are penalties for them not meeting that requirement.
So it's 24 months and then,
24 months from that date, the Gaming Commission issues them a license.
that'll be a few months probably, right?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of months. Yep.
There'll be more examination by the state police into backgrounds and people involved and so on. We got some of that in a preliminary basis,
Anything else?
but we didn't get the full investigation. So that will take some time, and they won't issue a license until they get that.
You have the honor of the last question, my friend.
Give us a peek into the deliberations among the five of you. How difficult was it to come to this decision? Were there differences of opinion or easy agreement?
Well, I'll speak, from my perspective. First, I had the luck of being with 4 very distinguished professionals who have various degrees of public service on their resumes, and they all are very smart individuals who have their own views, their own perspectives on things, and we challenged each other. No, we didn't lobby each other. We sort of tried to reach a consensus. We pushed each other on something. And, from the get-go, we weren't at these 3 from the beginning. We arrived after a very deliberative process. And so I think because of the collective wisdom of my colleagues, and we all did our homework, and the reviewing of all the materials, and then had the deliberations primarily on the finances and the model. And we hammered the issues out, and we reached a consensus. And there was no arm twisting to be unanimous. We came to this conclusion today unanimously because we all believe in the decisions that we made were the right ones. It doesn't mean, as I said outside, it doesn't mean we're perfect, but we try to have a rational, deliberative reasons for the selections and the recommendations that we made. And with that, I want to thank you very much. I wish you all a very happy holiday. All right? Bye-bye.
Yes.
You know how long it would take them to see